evening and welcome to Monday Night Politics Meet the Candidates, presented by the Dallas Examiner. I'm Molly Finch Belt, publisher of the Dallas Examiner. The Dallas Examiner has presented Monday Night Politics for over 12 consecutive years prior to elections. The Dallas Examiner does not endorse candidates. We seek to inform the community so that when they go to the polls, they are informed voters. All candidates who provide their email addresses on their applications when they file for office are invited to participate in Monday Night Politics. Monday Night Politics is not a debate, it's a forum designed to inform the community about the candidates' qualifications, their platform, etc. We could not present Monday Night Politics without our sponsors, who are nonprofit organizations, and they do not endorse either. In addition to Monday Night Politics, our website, www.dallasexaminer.com, has a section for voter education. Here you'll find current information about voting. Visit www.dallasexaminer.com. I would be remiss if I didn't mention two people who have worked with Monday Night Politics Meet the Candidates behind the scenes for over 12 years. The first person is Robin Jimenez, Vice President of Production and Editorial at the Dallas Examiner. The other person is Christy Thomas, Monday Night Politics Advisory Committee. We are happy tonight to have as our moderator Charles O'Neill. Charles is president of the Texas Association of African American Chambers of Commerce, and he was the first editor for the Dallas Examiner when the newspaper was founded by my father in 1986. Thank you for attending the forum tonight.
And thank you again for joining us tonight for our Valentine's Day edition of Monday Night Politics, brought to you by the Dallas Examiner. We've had an interesting night, I think, an informative night, walking through various judicial races in Dallas County Court at Law, Dallas County Criminal Court at Law, and now Dallas County Probate Court. So we've been trying to inform our viewers and listeners about just what are the functions of those courts. We'll do the same thing tonight when we talk to our candidates here. We have with us the incumbent, Judge Ingrid Warren, and the challenger, Ms. Lanasha House. Thank you both for being with us tonight. We'll give 2 minutes for opening statements. We'll start with you, Judge Warren.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. O'Neill, for the opportunity to present to you all today. Likewise, thank you to the Dallas Examiner and to the Belt family for their commitment to educating the community. My name is Ingrid Michelle Warren, and I was born here in Dallas, Texas, especially or particularly at Baylor Hospital. I graduated from Law Magnet High School, which is now Judge Barefoot Sanders High School. I left there and continued in public school, graduated from Texas A&M University. Thereafter, I attended the University of Texas School of Law. I knew from the time that I went to high school that I wanted to be a judge, but I never thought I would have the opportunity. But with your help, 8 years ago, you elected me, and I thank you for that. And I'm asking for your support again today. I'm asking for your support again today because we've worked really hard in probate court. We've worked really hard to make sure that we are a calming voice to families in grief. Probate court handles the affairs of the deceased. We deal with guardianships. We also deal with trust. As a matter of fact, I have a family right now who can't wait until this election is over so that I can deal with a large trust issue that's waiting for their family that needs to be resolved by mid-March. But until then, I am committed to this process. I'm committed to what it's all about. While on the bench, I've worked really hard in order to make sure that your cases are heard. Last year, we heard over, let me step back. I signed over 9,000 orders, more orders than any probate court in Dallas County. I am one of 19 statutory probate judges in the state of Texas. I've served in this role for 2 terms. I have been asked in this role to educate other judges on what it means to be a probate judge. what it means to be a probate judge. I've been asked to talk to legislatures about legislation on this issue, and so I ask you for that opportunity again.
Thank you so much. Ms. House.
Good evening. My name is Lanasha House, and I'm a candidate running for Probate Court number 2. A little bit about me. I have been practicing law for over 15 years. I'm a Howard University School of Law graduate. I'm also a TCU graduate. Wasn't born here in Dallas, but I like to say I got here as soon as I could. I was born in Marshall, Texas. My parents are Wiley College graduates, and so I was therefore raised in East Texas. And so I am a native Texan. I am running for this bench because when I worked at the probate courts, which is a little bit of my history, I noticed that there were some administrative and policies and procedures that needed to change. I respect Judge Warren, I respect her experience, and I respect that she does know the law. And so as we go through this tonight, I want you all to know that this race is not about her qualifications, nor about my qualifications to run for this bench. This race is about administrative processes and procedures and how we differ on how the courts should proceed moving forward. And to give you a little bit of background of what I did for the courts, I served as the director of operations for the probate courts. And during that time period, I actually worked with all 3 judges, and I also oversaw the Dallas County Court investigator's office. That was pre-pandemic and during the pandemic. And during that role, what my job was to do is to make sure that indigent clients and individuals who had incapacities or were some kind of way maybe injured through a traumatic brain injury or Alzheimer's, they had the help that they needed to make their medical decisions. And this was very important, as you can imagine, during COVID. That experience showed me that there are some administrative processes that need to change, and I'm here asking you all for the opportunity to evoke those changes and to be the agent of change that Probate Court number 2 needs.
Ms. House, now you may have to correct me on this, but this may be a court that's really, really important to black people. Dying intestate is something that we like to do, apparently, right? So how will your candidacy, should you be elected, begin to, 1, educate the public to what that court really serves, the purpose it really serves, and how will you alluded to administrative issues that you'd like to see changed in the court. How will you make it smooth?
Okay. Thank you. And let me also kind of clarify what you're saying about
Please do.
dying intestate. So I'm a preacher's kid, grew up in the Baptist church. My dad is the CME preacher now. And one of the main issues that we have in our community is that a lot of people don't do estate planning. So what does that mean? That means when grandma passed away, the family continues to live in the home, but they don't have the title to the house. They might not even have insurance for the house. Or if brother or sister passes away, if there isn't a will, who gets to access the bank account to get the money, to pay the bills? All of these things are important issues that individuals may not plan for until maybe it's too late. So ways that I would like to help our community is what I'm already doing right now. I have already, through OCBF, Oak Cliff Bible Fellowship, I've already helped with will planning. I already donate my time and services and pro bono. A lot of times for indigent clients, offer estate planning. I don't let anyone leave my office with just a will. I make sure they have a durable power of attorney, a medical power of attorney, a HIPAA release form, and a will, because I want them to be able to take care of their family while they're alive and when they pass away. And I think that is the key component, is education. We need to make sure that there are more minority attorneys, more new attorneys who understand what probate law is. And so that is one of the platforms that I'm running on. I am wanting to increase the amount of CLEs and the amount of education within our community for attorneys who may not know probate, so that they can go back out into the community and help and provide resources for those individuals who may not be able to afford a top-tier law firm. And if we have more individuals that have that background and have that ability, then we'll have the ability for people to go back out and help those people that they know and love. And hopefully that will decrease the amount of people having to come into probate court confused, and hopefully that will increase the amount of estate planning that we in the community are already doing.
Very good. Thank you so much. Judge Warren, same question, but this has turned out to be pretty I mean, it's important to me. It's fun to me. This is the best one so far tonight. Save the best one for last. This one resonates with our community. So
Sure.
walk us through how you're being returned to the bench, Will.
Thank you for that. The reason why I'm a probate judge and the reason why I ran for this particular bench and not any other civil bench is because this is where I see the rubber meeting the road. When I think about African American families and I think about the wealth gap, you see the wealth gap occurring more in African American families. When I practiced law, I worked with a number of churches, well over 25, 30 or more. And that was so that I could spread the word and talk to people about how important it is in order to make sure that you plan. If you don't plan, the state has a plan for you, and it may not be your plan. And so when we talk about making sure that African American families are able to capture the wealth that we already have, it is how can we transition assets quickly from one generation to the next. And that is why I ran for probate court, because this is a court where I can help families. This is a court where I can be a part of the process to minimize the delay. And one of the things that I've done since I've been on this court is that I realized when I ran 8 years ago, and you all were helpful in getting me elected, and I'm grateful for that opportunity, what I realized is that there needed to be a change in these courts, and I've been a part of that change. One of the things that we've done is the director of probate court operations, we were able to double the salary for that position so that we could get a qualified individual for that job. Not only that, we've expanded our staff by 75%. And also, we've been able to add an additional judge for each court so that we can hear more cases. That's how we were able to sign 9,000 orders and hear on average 50-something cases a week on a 52-week schedule.
You kind of referenced it, and I want you to kind of expand on it. You said, if you don't have a plan, the state has one. What does that look like when the state is the big bad wolf?
Well, it depends on the scenario, whether or not you die as a married person or as a single person, and whether or not you have children. What it looks like, more importantly, is that it's not what you wanted. It's not what you planned. And that is why I encourage each of you listening to me today to make sure that you have a will. I know it's not something we like to think about, but it's something that's important for our families. Whether you were leaving money to your family members or whether you're leaving money to to an organization, whether it's your church. My church is Concord. Concord will get something when I pass away, or whether it is the school that you graduated from. You have to plan in order to make sure it happens. And what I'd like to see happen with our community is that we do more of that so that we capture our wealth and we pass it along from one generation to the next intentionally.
Very good. Thank you so much. Ms. House, would you like to take a stab at that? What's your experience been when we don't have a plan?
I actually agree with Judge Warren with this. A lot of times when individuals do not have a plan, Dallas County, the state, will create that plan for them. And what that means sometimes is that there could be a foreclosure on the home because individuals haven't had the opportunity to pay the taxes. Or someone passed away and Dallas County doesn't know about it. The family and relatives may be in another state. And then there's blight on the property, and the county will continue to charge those individuals for keeping up that property. And that's another reason that a property could end up being lost with regard to generational wealth. And so I do believe that one of the key components in making sure that we as a community understand the importance of estate planning is education. We have to get out there and inform people that even though this is a down ballot race, this impacts everyone in Dallas County. No matter how much we want to discuss it, everyone is going to pass away eventually. And none of us know what that day will be, only God knows. And so the best way, especially if COVID hasn't taught us anything at all whatsoever, we never know what tomorrow promises. We never know if your family member is going to be ill. And the best way to protect your family members, to protect your children, to ensure that your wealth is taken care of and will pass down for generations and generations is to do the necessary planning. And if you don't have the money to do that, call up your local bar association, call up legal aid, call me, call up individuals who are willing to help you and willing to provide those services. I know many law offices will even provide free or pro bono services for senior citizens. There are so many opportunities available. Just reach out to us and we'll be able to help you with the estate planning process.
Very good. And in your closing statement, describe to us how Dallas County Probate Court Number 2 will be improved by your election.
Thank you so much. Well, as I stated earlier, I believe that the difference here between myself and my opponent is simply the differences in processes and procedures. And I believe that there needs to be a change with the processes and procedures because the attorneys have said so. Dallas Bar Association Judicial Poll has said that the processes and procedures for this particular court are inefficient and don't overall approve of it. You all can look that up. You can look up what the ratings are for all of the judges, so I won't focus on that particularly. My website is lanashaforjudge.com, which discusses all of my platform, and here are a few of the items that are listed there. I want to increase the court transparency. I would like to have the attorney ad litem list actually posted on the court's website so that individuals can know what attorneys are getting court appointments. I would like to comply with the Texas Government Code with regard to attorney appointments and who would be next on the wheel to get an appointment from the court. In addition, I would like to increase the employee retention. At this point in time, this court has the lowest employee retention of all three courts, which is really disappointing considering that Dallas County has a 200% matching rate for employees. I believe the way to improve that is to make sure that all of the employees are cross-trained, increase their ability to be able to work remotely if they have some family emergencies or health circumstances, and also to ensure that they are able to take their vacation and sick days. I would like to improve community outreach and increase that. Now, the court has, when I was working with the court, there was a probate summer school CLE, and it was very, very productive. And I would like to continue to do that to increase the opportunities from what we just discussed in the community for people to know the importance of estate planning and the importance of getting your documents done while you're able and while you have the mental capacity. Again, my name is Lanasha Howes. I am respectfully requesting your vote for probate court number 2. Please visit my website for more information.
Thank you. Judge Warren, how will the court be improved by your being returned to the bench?
Yes, sir. The court will benefit by returning me to the bench because it will promote consistency. Consistency matters in this position. Consistency matters with the attorneys, and consistency matters with the people that are coming before it in terms of the administrative function. We've worked diligently in order to make sure these courts were improved. For years before I got on the bench, the probate courts were considered the stepchildren of all of the courts. We're in a totally different building. Our building was not, we were in the records building, and I don't know if you all have been by the records building now, but it's been totally remodeled, and we're waiting on our new space, which is going to be in George Allen. And one of the things that I'd like to do as part of that consistency is to continue to work with the administration to improve the courts. The changes that I'm talking about are infrastructure changes, not cosmetic changes. We've talked about things, and we've made some cosmetic changes in order to make things easier and smoother for lawyers. And what I'd like to do going forward is to make sure that the administration and the county administrators have been very responsive with this, understand that what we need is a 4th probate court. We hear, probate court number 2 hears more than 37.5% of all the cases in Dallas County, and that's a lot. We are very busy. We were there every single day during the pandemic, not at home, but in court. And we were there because you all needed us, and that's when you needed us the most. And so I'd like to be able to continue those efforts because we are working towards a plan. And this is a plan that's a strategic plan in order to make sure that the citizens of Dallas County are served. One other thing I'd like to point out is, we've worked really hard. Those efforts are starting to come to fruition. And with your help, I pray, and with God's support, we will be able to continue to do that going forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have candidates for Dallas County Probate Court Number 2, the challenger, Ms. Lanasha House. Thank you so much. And Judge, the incumbent, Judge Ingrid Warren. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. Thank you so much. My pleasure here. The real HU. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for joining us tonight at the Monday Night Politics for the Dallas Examiner's a forum provided to encourage education about the political process for our community. Also, join us next next Monday for our Monday Night Politics here at the African American Museum. Thank you so much. Happy Valentine's Day.